My name is Andrew Mossop. I currently go here to bow down with my wife and our youngest daughter, Nevaeh. My journey, a lot of distraction with I call shiny stuff. So as a young boy in my teens and high school, the biggest influence for the Christian faith was my grandmother living with us. And I remember on Sundays, she would always like snatch you when you're trying to walk past to go to the bedroom and hold you there, stand you there like imprisoned. Did I want to be there? No, but that was the seed. I saw other kids that had nicer things than me, and I wanted that. So my friends and I came up with this bonehead idea to rob a pizzeria. And we planned it, and we were going to do it on a Saturday night. And my grandmother had really good discernment, and I don't remember exactly what she said to me, which was a Friday. She basically wanted me to stay put, not go anywhere. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. I got this thing happening tomorrow night. We're going to make a nice score. So Saturday morning, I wake up, flu, coughing, not feeling good, the body aches and whatnot. Later on that evening, my buddies come by back at the house, banging on the windows, like, yo, you ready? I'm like, I can't go, let's do it for next week. They're like, nah, we're going to. I'm like, what about my part? If you don't participate, you got nothing. The dirty deed was done. Back then, we didn't have cell phones or pagers or anything, so you do the rotary phone. I'm calling up my buddies to see how it went, couldn't hear from them. I didn't go to school, I think, on Monday, because I was still sick. Maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, I go to school. And I found out from my other classmates that these knuckleheads, while they were robbing the pizzeria, police showed up to get pizza. So that path, they went sideways down the hill, and it totally wrecked their life. But moving forward, I started getting into the music business. I produced a track, not taking it seriously, and the next thing you know, it's on the radio playing. So fast forward to 1995, a close dear friend of mine, Mark, who was a huge influence on my life for the Christian faith, he really started making me look at it more seriously. But I was in the hip hop business with him, and it's more ratchet now, but it was still ratchet back then. We landed a deal with Def Jam Records. I was able to co-write and co-produce a song. It was called Kill Them All. And on that album, you had Method Man, Tupac, Biggie. It was just loaded with a bunch of stars. So the shiny stuff started looking even closer to obtain because I was in the league with these different performers and producers. So it was a stroke for my ego. Got an opportunity to be Prince's assistant. At the time, I thought it was positive, but it was a negative, the amount of women you're exposed to. I started not thinking in reality because whatever he kicked to the curb, it was overwhelming. And everybody wanted to be my friend in 2000s. Flying to New York to work on the Nutty Professor soundtrack. And that's where I met my wife, on an airplane. She was sitting on that side of the wing, and I'm sitting on that side, and her dear friend introduced us, and we got married. As soon as we get married, I decide to get out of the music business because it was just not conducive. You're out in the nightclubs and the temptations and all that, so I walked away from it. My wife was doing makeup artistry for a lot of music videos, so she introduced me to a couple other producers and directors, and I was always around music video sets, and I picked up what they were doing just by watching. So I directed my first music video, and I got hooked. And I was able to work with, oh my gosh, from Busta Rhymes, Missy Elliott, a whole bunch of different acts that I was able to work with. And then that transitioned into television production, TV commercials, a lot of big brands. Fast forward, I get picked up by CAA, Creative Artists Agency, and I'm out in California, and I'm meeting everybody. I ended up partnering up with Will Smith and James Lasseter at their company was called Overbrook Entertainment. It was gonna make me rich. Finally, the shiny stuff, right? But there's a catch to that shiny stuff. So we get into talks on direction of the show. So I'm on a conference call with MTV, and they say, hey, we got a great idea. You're gonna be a household name. It's very controversial, but it's gonna really put your career going. I'm like, all right, what is it? So the bad guy is called an antagonist in a show. And that character's name is Crooks. They wanted them to chase down this guy, overwhelm him with this power, and rape the man, the other guy. But they said, you won't see it, we'll just see a silhouette of him. Now it sounds like white noise to me. I wanted to throw up. Now I'm getting, tempted. Do I sell my soul and push that lifestyle, or do I just draw the line? So I drew the line. I couldn't do it. So now I'm sitting in front of Will Smith and James Lasseter. I flew out to California, and like, what do you want to do? They go, you're a Christian, aren't you? I said, yeah, I'm a Christian. He goes, well, you don't want to be known out in Hollywood as a gay basher. I said, I'm not a gay basher. I'm just not going to promote that lifestyle. I don't believe in it. Now, I'm not trying to knock any celebrities, but I'm so glad I didn't get hooked on the shiny stuff, because I look at these celebrities and I look at the brokenness in their families' lives. I don't want to name drop it. You can just read the newspaper, you know. And it was crazy that I was so attracted to that stuff. Now, I'm getting stronger in my walk with Christ day and day, but I'm still getting distracted. So I find myself producing a show in Miami called Temptation Miami, and it was loaded with a bunch of influencers, women from the ages of like 24 to 28. Now I'm getting distracted. Happily married, I was getting distracted by one of the cast members. She's 28, I'm 50, and my ego was getting stroked, because when I would hang out with her, celebrities, football players are trying to step to her and she's blowing them off. I'm like, why don't you step to those guys? She goes, oh no, they're only here for one reason. I just like spending time with you. And now my head is swelling. Shiny stuff, yeah, that's what's up. And I started contemplating, wow, what would it be like with this person? Thank God I didn't go that route, but that's the biggest mistake I've ever done in my life. I totally destroyed my wife, broke her to pieces. We went to a JH Outback years ago, and that completely restored our marriage. I don't talk about that side of my life anymore, the whole entertainment. I find it entertaining to me sometimes when I hear people talking about who they know and their name dropping. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. The only person that you should know is Christ, and that's the rock star. That's the person that I'm more impressed with than anybody else. That's put me in alignment right now to where I need to be with my family. We have 4 amazing daughters. 2 of them are married. They're Christ followers. One of them recently was on The Voice last year, Nadej. Because of the way my wife and I are walking, she did something that's so amazing. Although she was on The Voice, I asked her, what's your biggest accomplishment? Her biggest accomplishment wasn't being in front of millions of people, but she was able to lead the hairdresser to Christ. So that's the shiny stuff for me. It's changed.